Welcome to Inside Gospel. We bring you illumination through God's Word. My name is Pastor Onus Lawrence Ubome. I happen to be your host in Inside Gospel Hub. Today we are going to be talking about an interesting topic that has been a long time debate in theology for age. And this happens to be the existence of God. Or you can call it the God existence. The God existence is a topic that has been debated over time, and it happens to be one of the most popular debated topics in theology and also in philosophy. So, taking you further in today's topic, we'll do well to answer some frequent philosophical questions. Questions like, does God exist? Does God exist? Take some time and think about that question. Does God exist? Yes, God actually exists. God exists, and we are going to be proving it to you through the worldview that God actually exists. It is sad that over time we've breeded weak and lazy believers who are unable, from the Bible point of view, to stand before pagans and atheists who doesn't believe the existence of God, to be able to convince them of their view of the Bible about the existence of God. So we'll be going through the world view of the proof that God exists. If you are joining us for the first time, please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel in order to enjoy content like this that will help breed you up in maturity in Christ Jesus. Without any further ado, let's go back to our topic. Now, we are going to be giving you the number one proof that God exists. Remember, I said we are going to be coming from the world point of view that God exists. The world point of view that God exists. And one of the world point of view that God actually exists, it is the cosmos. Number one, the cosmos. The cosmos is known to be the universe. Over time, due to the study of cosmology and the study of the universe by scientists, we've gotten to understand that the universe is a unique reason to believe that this unique earth or this unique cosmos is a result or a cost of something more superior. And in science, there's a theory by the science that the cost of the earth is a Big Bang. And this Big Bang was an explosion that happened billions of years ago. And this was the result of how the earth came into formulation and how the earth came into existence. Logically looking at it, it doesn't really sound wise, and it doesn't really sound more reasonable that the Big Bang theory is the cost of the universe or the cosmos. In other studies, a lot of persons have come up with different ideas. They feel that this is the cost of the earth or the existence of the earth. Like the atheists, they don't believe the reality if there is a God. They just believe that nature and everything within nature happens to be God. Now, but we'll be taking you carefully through worldview. Continuing with this topic, the existence of God, I'm not going to be looking at the Big Bang theory because I think that theory has been disqualified by some laws of science. Some laws of science in itself has disqualified the Big Bang theory, and I don't think it's a reasonable standpoint to judge the existence of God. So going further from the universal view or the world view is that the cosmos design, its complexity and its order is one good proof to state that God exists. A world that is well designed in its complexity cannot just be a reality of a Big Bang explosion. It must be a reality of an intelligent source or an intelligent cause. There's a law in science that is called the law of cause and effect. And the law of cause and effect said no material things come into existence without a cost. And by that law, it seems that we can't say the earth just exists in itself, nature just happens in itself. There must be a cost for nature. And that cost for nature happens to be God, because the earth seems so organized, ranging from non-living things. You can see the beauty of mountains, the beauty of the landscape of the earth. You can see the beauty of plants. You can see the beauty of humans, and the intelligent humans have proved over time. And this stands as a clear proof that God exists. So, number one, the cosmos is a clear reason that God exists, which is the universe. And number two, the complexity of the universe and its design and its organization, the way it's organized, shows that there is a more supreme force or supreme being that exists, that caused everything that exists. Number three is consciousness. Consciousness is something that exists in every human. Over time, we grow and we get to understand that there is a consciousness, that there is a reality of a stronger force who is responsible for everything we admire in the cosmos or around us. Now, for example, as time goes on, this reality that there is a greater force that forms the reality or the existence of whatsoever we find around us has brought about a strong concern and has brought about a strong belief system, which we know to be called philosophical belief system and also religious belief system. And some of these belief systems, some of them are stemmed out from the Bible religions, like the Abrahamic religion. The Abrahamic religion is known to be called the Islamic religion, the Christianity, and also Judaism. Now, this is not the topic to explain what Islamic means, Christianity means, or Judaism means. We'll come up with another topic where we'll deliberate and elaborate more on these religions and how they came to place. Now, before we go further, there is a law of science I would like to quote to us, and it will help us further through our study. But before then, the fourth proof that God exists is a law of science called the law of biogenesis. The law of biogenesis. Remember, I said we are going to be starting from the worldview of the existence of God. So you will be seeing me quoting some laws of science, because these are worldview that has been believed by every religion that cut across the earth in general. The worldview is like a pair of glass that affects our perspective and our interpretation of the existence of God. When you put on different lenses of glass, you seem to interpret objects differently. The law of biogenesis states that life creates life, and life can only come from a pre-existing life or other living things, and not from a non-living thing. So life cannot be generated from a non-living thing. Now, this law of science called biogenesis, I think it makes more sense to disqualify the Big Bang theory, which science seems to prove that is the Big Bang theory that originated our cosmos, originated everything that lives within the cosmos. Because now the science law of biogenesis says that nothing comes into existence just himself. It must be from a source that is living. So the world view we are looking at now, it is what forms the different reality that different religions have about the idea of the existence of God. And this will bring us to what I call theism. And what is theism? It's a philosophical view that all limited or finite things, they are dependent in some way on one superior or ultimate reality. There are many religions that are bettered on theism. We made mention of the Abrahamic religion, in which we have the Islamic, Christianity, Judaism. Now, these beliefs, they are bettered on theism. In theism, we have different categories in theism, or we can say different types of theism. And number one type of theism is known as monotheism. Monotheism. is monotheism? Monotheism simply means the belief in the existence of one God. The belief in the existence of one God. Monotheism is the belief that Christianity is bettered upon. Is the belief that Islamic is bettered upon. Is the belief that Judaism is bettered upon. Because they believe in the existence of only one true God. And the second type of theism we have is known as polytheism. Polytheism simply means that the belief in many gods. The belief in many gods. Through the worldview of philosophy and the understanding people have gained over time about the existence of God, many persons has believed so many things to be God. Some persons has believed the earth to be God. Some persons has believed that there are different gods in charge of different unique nature of this earth or the cosmos. Like for example, in polytheism, many people believe that in the water there is a God in charge of the water. And you can find the example of these people in the book of Jonah. When Jonah was sent by God to Nineveh to warn the people about his wrath and for them to repent and turn from their evil ways. Now, Jonah board a ship that is going to a different direction from the direction the Lord has assigned him to go to. And now the wrath of the Lord came upon Jonah. And when the wrath of the Lord came upon Jonah, those that were in that ship, they were not exempted from the wrath. It means the tempest that came upon the ship affected everyone in that ship. And it came to a point that those people in the ship, they started making statements like, maybe the God of the river is angry with us. And in that instance, these people started throwing different things into the river as an appeaser to the gods. They started throwing things as a reliever for the ship. But the main idea I want you to pick here is that the idea that these people picked, that the God of the sea is angry with them. And in polytheism, people also believe that there is a God in charge of the sun. People also believe that there is a God in charge of the cloud, and there is a God in charge of harvest. So if you want to have a good harvest in some religion, they believe that there is a God called the God of harvest. You have to worship that deity that is in charge of harvest for you to get a bountiful harvest. These are all practice of polytheism, which is the belief of multiple gods. Number 3 type of theism we have is known as enotheism. Enotheism is the acknowledgement of one God among many. Among these many gods, these people choose to pick out one among the sun god, the river god, the earth god, the god of the mountain, the god of whatsoever they choose to believe. They just pick one and they decide to stick with that and give reverence and adoration to that as their God, to guide them, to lead them, to save them in different ways which they need His help and His protection. 4th type of theism we have is pantheism. And what is pantheism? Pantheism means all is God, or God is all, or everything is God. Is a belief that God exists within everything that exists in the earth. There are people and religions that believe that God exists within everything. Then the 5th type of theism we have is known as pantheism. This is a belief that God exists within all things in the universe. All things in the universe exist outside God. It's a belief that God exists in all things that is in the universe, and same time God exists outside the universe. The 6th type of theism is known as deism. What is deism? Deism is considered that God is the ultimate creator, though God does not interact with the universe in any way. They believe that God is the author of everything, is the one who formed and creates everything, the whole cosmos, but God does not relate with the cosmos. Like for Christianity now, we believe that we can communicate with God through prayers, But in deism, these people practicing deism, they don't believe that God actually interacts with the universe. Now, taking you further, we want to answer another debated theological and philosophical question that has been asked over the years by believers, atheists, and pagans. If we really believe that there is a God we call the God of the Bible, the God of the Abrahamic covenant, where did this God come from? I think over time this has been asked as a counter question to counter the belief of those who believe in the God of the Bible. Where did God come from? It is another debated question within philosophy, theology, and other religion. Where did God come from? If definitely you believe the God of the Bible, the God of the Abrahamic covenant, where did they come from? This is a vigorous question, but it's not impossible to answer. It is definitely possible to answer. If you can sort out where God comes from, or who created God, then you have to give a proof or a reason of what created the God that 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 created the God. So this question will keep going on. So definitely it is infinita. So in order to answer this question, we have to be reasonable to an extent. Asking where the God of the Abrahamic religion or the God of the Bible comes from is like asking what sound did silence makes. And definitely silence makes no sound. So if we must answer this question, where did God come from, there are some certain things we must put into consideration. Number one thing is that God is a supernatural being. The science doesn't believe in the supernatural. So if we must be able to answer this question, then you must agree with our part as the Bible's believers that God is a supernatural being. So if the God of the Bible is a supernatural being, therefore he cannot be limited by the physical laws of science, like the laws of cause and effect. God is the uncaused cost that caused the cosmos. God happens to be the uncaused cost. The laws of science cannot bind God or cannot limit God. God comes from nowhere, because definitely there was nowhere for him to come from. There is no one who can create God, and God is the cause of the universe. Therefore, he hung the universe on nothing, because there was nothing when God existed. There's one thing I want you to note in conclusion. If God can be fully explained, then he's not God. He is God because he cannot be fully comprehended by any man or by any technology. Thank you for joining us today. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel to encourage us in creating content like this that will help you build your spiritual life. We are inside God's Word. We bring you illumination through God's Word. Stay blessed. God bless you.